Hey, my name is Roxy. I am an artist and today I'm going to show you my sketchbook. I've been working on this sketchbook for 2 years, since June 2022. So now we're in June 2024 when I'm recording this. And there are just a few pages left, but I feel like the last sketchbook tour was a long time ago. So if you want to check that one out first, I was a baby YouTuber at the moment. So it is a little bit rough around the edges, but you know, it's still fun to see all the progress that my art style made during that time, my paintings, my research, my sketches. And this is really a step in a new direction. So I'm going to take you with me up there, and I'm going to flip through this book and tell you all about it. So this is the big boy. It almost doesn't fit on my desk in frame, but we are here. I thought this was the perfect opportunity because I did my nails and you are looking at my hands a lot during this video. So we are going in. I got this sketchbook from my local art store, by the way. It's an A3 size, which means it's 42 by 29 centimeters. And yeah, nothing special about it. It's just sketchbook paper. So these are some loose papers in there. Let's see. Am I doing it right? Yes, I am doing it right. I still need to paste these in, apparently. But we'll do that later. So this was in 2022. These were still selfies from, I think, just post-COVID. And this is just a page to get started. I was a lot more into doing illustration at the time, and I had new markers, I think. So I wanted to do some weird chairs, and then I am always collaging photos that I have in my sketchbook so I don't lose them. It's not necessarily that I don't or do something with those photos, but it's just to have a place for them. These ones too. This was for my live illustration event. These are some sketches. I don't think I used them. Some pastels, and I put this on here because pastels are really I'm not sure what the word is in English, but contagious for the rest of the pages. These are from the same photo series. This was a sketch for a collaboration that I did, and I also use a lot of post-its. You'll see it in the rest of the book. This was also a sketch for a collaboration that I did. I think in the beginning of this book there's a lot of collaborations and a lot of client projects, but then the further we get into the book, the more free work it is, the more personal work. And this was actually for an album cover. And I make these thumbnail sketches, and then I made some color sketches, and these I sent to the client, but note that she was also an artist, so she kind of gets these images. If it was a more commercial client, I would have made it a little bit more understandable. Now there were some loose sketches, some thumbnails, and this is the end sketch that I made for that same artist, and it turned out into this album cover that I also made a video about, and I'm going to link it up here. It turned out really nicely. This one was for a painting, and I have another color variation underneath, and these are all digital collages. I always use these as a reference for my paintings, just so I have kind of a reference, like a border, you know, like I have some sort of rule to work by, because otherwise you have all these options, and yeah, this just helps me. This turned out to be the title, so I always brainstorm titles on post-its, and sometimes it comes during the painting, sometimes it comes after, but I always try to put them in there because there's usually nice thoughts on there as well to remember for the next paintings. This was another client thing, live illustration this time. And this was actually for a painting, but I liked the colors together. Just some photos of paintings that I printed. This is a oil sketch, I believe. I didn't continue it, but I do like it. It actually, now that I look at it again, it kind of looks like a painting that I finished. So it may have been in my head. This was cute as well. This was for my studio sale because I was moving and I had a lot of paintings on paper, and a lot of them sold actually, but I printed them out. I don't remember why I printed them out, but it's nice to have kind of as a reminder of what I did in that time. This was also a sketch for a painting. Bigger than me, it says. Here you see a lot of titles again, and the thing is, when I am stuck on titles, I always flip through my sketchbook and see what is in there, because sometimes they help along the way. This is a planning. This is that same drawing, as you can see. This is the one that I drew, and this is the digital collage. It turned into a painting, and sometimes I like when an image is really difficult to understand for me to first draw it, so I know which areas I want to make bigger, which areas I want to make smaller. These are, again, some small oil sketches, which I actually really like. So I think I should get this back in my routine. I think I made a video of making this, actually. And I like that they are with oil, but I somehow never use oil on paper because it seems like a hassle, but it's actually quite fine if you see it like this. But yeah, I want to get that back. And sometimes there's this inspirational image that I've had on my desk wall that just correspond with the colors, and I just put them together. These are tiny little stickers from my previous studio mate. Another oil sketch, and this is the reference image. Or actually no, this is the image that I made after making the oil sketch, because this one I made from my head, and this one I edited like, oh, maybe I want to do something with a figure holding something light. Another sketch that didn't turn into a painting. I think it was too busy, although I do really like this figure, so maybe I'm gonna grab that one back at some point. Also some loose papers that I just put in here because they didn't really have a place. More oil sketches. This is a variation on the one that I just showed. And these are all from my head. They aren't from photos or anything. They're just like, oh, maybe I like this pose. This is the same from last time, from the last page. And then this is a variation on that. And I did make a painting similar to this, but I didn't really like it, and I'm probably gonna paint over it. But I think it was just this in-between time where I didn't really know where I wanted to go with my paintings. And it turned out into this in-between painting, which makes sense, but I'm probably not using it again. So this is a sketch that, because I was stuck on a painting, I photographed it, I printed it out, and then I just drew on top of it, just to see what I wanted to do with it. And it really helps me out because these paintings are quite big. They're like 1.5 meters tall. And if you want to fix that thinking in oil paint, it one, costs a lot of paint, and two, you have to wait if you are not happy with how it turns out. So these in-between sketches on paper really help me out. And as you can see, I feel stuck. These are also quite nice. I didn't go through with them, but I do think they're quite nice. This is another one of those paper sketches, and this is one of those paintings that I was talking about that was kind of in between. It did work out, I think, in the tiny sketch, but it didn't work out in the painting. Some small studies on paper, or more like small imaginary friends, I guess. And this is a fish, wow, that I drew because I wanted to make something fun on top of this painting. And I printed it out and I actually put it on the painting to see if it would work out. And I think it did. I don't know if I am still a big fan of this painting. Parts of it definitely, but maybe in like 2 years if I haven't looked at it for time. It was a really strange time to paint because it was so fast. Like I was moving studios, I was moving houses. We were renovating our house, me and my partner, and there was just a lot going on, and you could see that in my paintings. And I don't think they make better paintings, but I do think they were necessary to make sense of my mind. Another sketch that I didn't finish a painting of, and I still really like these stripes, so I don't think I have the dress anymore, I think I threw it away, but I really like the shape of the lines and the hand. I really like the hand, so maybe it will come back later in something. That's why I make these sketchbooks. This is a self-portrait, and this is the reference image, and I turn it into this painting, or this is one of those thinking sketches. And yeah, I think it turned out quite nice. I actually exhibited it in June, so like a month ago. And again, these colors just look nice together. So I don't really work with a lot of images from other people, but I do like to once in a while save some images that I like that just grab my eye. I literally go to the library, or I go to Pinterest or some random website to look at images that I like. I don't really think about it. I just set a timer for like 10-15 minutes, save everything that I like, print it out. It depends on the image if I credit the artist there, but I guess for these I didn't. And then I just put them on a wall, you know, especially in the beginning of a series, it's nice to have this feedback, like, oh, I like the shine on this. Maybe I should do something with shiny things. Oh, I like the wave on this, you know, maybe I'll use it for something else. And that's basically how my brain works. I think this is when my Patreon started, and this was also a self-portrait painting, which turned out really nice, I think. I'm still a big fan of this one. And this is for my Patreon, yes. So there's going to be a lot of Patreon lessons in here. I post monthly lessons. If you're interested, you can check it out via the description. But this was for making thumbnail drawings and how to do that. And this was for how to paint your thumbnail drawings. So like one step further. I think this one was on composition. And there's just going to be a lot. This is another client thing. I made like I don't know if you call it a mural. A mural on a chalkboard, chalkboard drawing for Samsung. It was like this influencer event, and they wanted to promote their phone and their watch and their earplugs. So that's why I drew on the board. But obviously you have to like show it first. And this was a fun project because I think this was summer of 2023. It was right before the move to another studio, and I felt like I couldn't really paint anymore, so I suddenly was into animation. And this animation turned out quite fun because I've never done animation. It's super rough. I actually made 2 and then I never picked it up again. I still think it's a lot of fun, but it just takes so much time. And let's see what is in here. Oh yeah, here's more frames. So I hand drew all these frames and I didn't even put them in the same place. And with this one as well, this was like this eye animation. And I don't think, can I do this? Yes, I can do this. And I painted all the frames, but then I painted the second frame on top of it. So I painted like 10 paintings or maybe 15 paintings, and then I had like 30 frames. So, but it turned out really nice. I really liked it, but it's just something that you need to find the time for. This was another one for Patreon, and this was again for that influencer event. There were also some posters with a boxer. He didn't like the drawing, which was really fun. It's like this really famous Dutch boxer. And I would love, guess who this is. If you are Dutch and think you know boxers, guess who this is, because he didn't like it. I had to pick another drawing for this. Another Patreon drawing, and some museum drawings, by the way. This was for my own garden. Let's see, this was for hands. I always think, so when I teach workshop, when I teach lessons, I always say you should make ugly things. And the thing is, I love drawing hands. I actually think this is a really cool image with all the hands like this. Yes, now I have a good still. But the thing is, I wanted to show my patrons how to draw hands in a nice way, and I always do that, and it always goes fine, and then you're trying to teach someone else and it goes wrong. So I guess that just proves my point. Like, I put a big cross through this because it looks like shit, and I think these ones were okay, yes, but somehow I don't know, it's because I'm talking and drawing at the same time, I think. Sometimes I just ruin the drawings, but then I'm also telling in that video, like, you know, I have my off days too. And this is how you should do it. I hope your drawing looks better. I hope it turned out better. And that's why I also made the painting, because this one looks way better than these drawings. These were some blind drawings that I did from just random images of the internet. And this was a fun one because these are actually participants of my workshop that I taught in Amsterdam. And I think especially her and her and her. Actually, you can really recognize every one of them. But it was fun because this was from life. And they were drawing each other, and I also drew along. And like these, sometimes I have these random splashes of color, these random sketches, and I just like the certain parts, and I just cut them apart and I put them in there, and they're just these nice color windows. I think this was a plan for a new illustration or a new animation. I never finished it. And this was made while waiting for my first workshop. And I think in the new studio, I think this was September already, September 2023. And I remember being really nervous and writing down exactly what we're going to do. And then everything went fine, of course. But somehow, sometimes I'm just really nervous for new things. And you know, now I've taught multiple workshops here and it's always fine and it's always fun. But somehow I was really nervous for this one. These are some sketches for another client project. This was with the same artist from the beginning, but this was a new one. And I made some sketches for her single covers. So this was the first one, I believe. I think this one didn't happen, and then this one was like the third or the fourth one. And I'm not sure if I even have the other ones, but they turned out really nice. And we had these chapters, like there were 9 songs, and the third chapter still needs to come out, so I can't show you that. The first chapter was all about her being super young, like 8-ish, 10, 11, and then the second chapter she was like a teen, and then the third chapter is her grown up. So I tried to make that first chapter really playful, really young with collage, and then the second one is a bit more grown up, and the third one is going to go all out. Flowers. I had a plan here of drawing a bouquet every month because I would get flowers every month. Guess who did not get flowers after this? Me! This is a reference image for another painting that I did, and these are just some titles that I thought of while painting it, and also just random thoughts that I had at the moment. And it really helped me along the way, because I started this painting in September and I finished it in March. And I don't know how you are with your brain, but I don't remember what I was thinking half a year earlier. So this really helped me. And these are some sketches of that same image, just to get my brain rolling. A lot of sketches that are hiding. This is a painting that I gave up on. It's still standing in the corner of my studio. It worked small, didn't work big. And I also think I listened too much to other people. So it was a cool sketch, but not for the painting that I want. This is another painting on paper. I think this is one that I tried to figure out the painting from the previous page, but did not work out. And this is one of the covers for the artist that I worked with, and I scanned it in, changed some things, but yeah, this is the first one and the only one that is this small actually. Most of them are a lot bigger. Fashion illustration for clients, some practice illustrations, and another page. This was some practice for a portrait. And then we are going to Patreon again. This was for the February challenge. I made a lesson video every week that month, and it built up, you know. So this was looking at inspiration on your way to work, or the entire week, whatever you wanted. And then we were drawing that to just get loose and make something that like moved your hand without thinking of the subject. And then this next week was all about people drawing. So these are all people, and I asked my patrons to draw people that they saw, but I didn't want to film people that I saw for a video. That's just a bit weird. So I had them do it, and I just took some images from the internet. And then these ones are from my workshop called Painting Your Imaginary Friend. And I always draw along, and these are the results of that workshop. One of the workshops, apparently January 25. This is again from that March lesson, thumbnail drawings, and then we're getting to the paintings. And these were based on these images too. And this one was based on an image that you could make yourself. So this is a self-portrait. And these turned out really dark and brownish, but I do like these ones. And I remember setting a time limit for, I think, 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, and I completely went over it myself, but you know, can't always do it right. These are some fashion illustrations. This one is not a fashion illustration, but it is still nice. And then there's still, oh yeah, oh it works. Nice, didn't know it worked. This was from a school that I taught fashion illustration, and this one was actually the start of my title. Yes, soft words I tell myself, but it just doesn't have the soft words. That's the title from my last exhibition I had in April with all these paintings. So the photo that's under here I cannot show you, but these are the sketches of a portrait commission that I did, and I will make a video about this, a separate video. I have everything filmed, they just don't want their names in there and everything, so completely understand that. But these people, they came to my studio, I made my own videos of them so I could make sketches, and that's how I made my reference images. It's the same way as I work with my self-portraits, but now I made a commission for them. And these again are some of those imaginary friends during the workshops that I made. This was just basic how to draw a face. Let's see, there's another reference image. And one of my imaginary friends that I drew. This is from a painting called Even When No One Is Looking. And I can now clearly see that this painting was definitely inspired by that first sketch I made. Can I find it? Can I find it? Can I find it? Yes, we can. Here. Let's see. And these are just, again, random notes, like thoughts. What am I going to name it? What are the themes of that exhibition or that series? And I think we are almost at the last page now. This is from my newest work. And these are all the photo sketches for it. So I work the same way. I make videos. I choose stills that I like, and then I color them in Photoshop. But for these ones, I knew that I wanted to make 8 paintings that would fit next to each other on the wall. So I wanted some kind of cohesion. And I had this one from an earlier session, but then I made all these separately. So I knew that would kind of fit together. Like some I didn't use this one, but I did use this one, and I did use this one. These are some brainstorms for titles. These are brainstorms for a new exhibition, which was really hard, and I actually made a video on this for Patreon as well. How to brainstorm for titles, because I am stuck and I hope to get unstuck doing this. And it actually worked. So if you want to check that out, you can see it there, but this actually worked. I'm going to announce the title later on. You can read them here, but you will not know which ones it is. And this is a sketch for one of my latest big paintings. And I'm really a big fan of it, and I really want to go in this direction. Let's see, is this the last stuff? Yes, this is the last stuff. I only have a few loose papers in here. But, yeah, wait, I can show you this. Woo. So these are the loose ones, and I'm going to put this in here as well. So the way that I work with my sketchbook is that I often work on loose paper. I don't really draw a lot in my sketchbook, weirdly enough. I just like drawing on loose paper. But then I paste it in the sketchbook with tape or with something else. And I do that every month or so. I kind of gather all the pieces of paper, all the post-its, all the random stuff, and then I paste it in here, just so I don't lose it, and it's still sort of chronological, which I like. And this is all the stuff that is still going in there. So these are just basically completely finished drawings, but I'm not sure if I want to paste these in here, by the way. This is one of those ugly things. I had a workshop. These were also made in a workshop. I always paint along. And this one, I even told the participants, like, you know, sometimes for me, it's also just an off day. And this was one of those off days. It just wasn't working. And these are just some random to-do notes. This was also for a client, like really fashion illustration. That was fun. I started out doing fashion illustration, and I don't really do it anymore, but this was just a fashion illustration project, which I kind of thought was fun. This was from my live event. These two. And then we have these ones. I'm not gonna paste these in either. Maybe this, maybe, I don't know. No, I don't think so. I'm definitely not putting these in. I think these ones should just go back to my drawers because 2 of this series are hanging in someone's home and it would be a shame to have them in my sketchbook. And this is another ugly one, you know, just not there. Maybe if I give it another session, but also maybe. I do like some textures over here. Like, I don't know if you can see it, but there are some really cool textures going on. Even though the colors aren't that nice, it is really nice and rough, which I like. So maybe I'll do it later, but that is it. That is my entire sketchbook. It is a messy one. I love messy sketchbooks. I will never trade it for a neat one. This one is after I put in the last stuff. This one is going into my closet, I guess. Next to my other sketchbook. And after my holiday break, it is time to get a new one, which I'm super excited about. The first page, as you can see, is always hard. I just try whatever. Maybe I'll do the first page on film. Why not? Maybe that's fun. Ruin the first page with me. And yeah. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't seen the previous sketchbook tour and you really like this one, go watch that one and subscribe if you want to and like the video if you want to, because that really helps. And enjoy your day.